In Fallout 4, there are many opportunities for the player character to make some rather unintelligent decisions, but if you have never played the game before, you might not even realise that you are making these huge mistakes. In this video, we are going to look at 5 very dumb mistakes that you may make as a player in Fallout 4. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video if you do enjoy, as we are aiming for 15,000 subscribers by the end of this year, so please do subscribe. Anyway, let's begin. Coming in at the number 5 spot, we have Siding with Lorenzo Cabot in the Secret of the Cabot House questline. In the questline Secret of the Cabot House, we find a family residing in a quite nice home in the wasteland. We become their lackey and perform a few errands for them until we uncover a great secret. The family is no ordinary one, but a group of people all over 400 years old.
My family and I are all over 400 years old.
These people have been feeding off the blood of their trapped father, Lorenzo, to become immortal. Lorenzo has some alien artifacts superglued to his head that gives him superpowers, one of which being immortality. At the apex of the questline, you can choose to side with either Jack and his family, or Lorenzo, who is going to murder them all for entrapping him for so long. If you choose to side with Lorenzo during this, you are making a huge mistake. Lorenzo will reward you for your help by giving you some of his blood in the form of the mysterious serum, but only one at a time. The serum is certainly not useful enough to be used only once at a time. Maybe if he gave you 100 it would be worth it, but certainly not in this case. If you side with Lorenzo, you lock yourself out of Jack Cabot's reward, which is Lorenzo's artifact gun. Killing Lorenzo lets Jack use the artifact and turn it into a unique weapon that is unlike anything else in the game. The weapon isn't crazy overpowered, but it is a very cool and unique item that you will be missing out on permanently if you don't side with Jack. The weapon is in the form of a gamma gun and fires telekinetic bursts and is very cool indeed, so make sure that you side with Jack Cabot and not Lorenzo. Coming in at the number 4 spot, we have Giving Everything to the Pillars of the Community. Now this is more of a humorous entry on this list, as I don't think most players would ever actually do this, and if you do this, you can recover your lost possessions. But if you head on over, here on the map, to the Charles View Amphitheatre, you will meet a small group named the Pillars of the Community. These interesting folks approach you and immediately start selling their nonsensical cultist garbage in hopes that you will join their order. Brother Andrew here asks us to follow him into his office, and we oblige as we are very nice fellows. Arriving inside, he proposes a simple request, for us to give him all of our worldly possessions in order for us to be accepted into his group.
Just go ahead and give me everything you own, and I'll initiate you as a first-level pillar of the community.
Here, this is everything I have.
Oh, you're really going to...
We do so without hesitation. However, this is actually a bad idea. Surprisingly, the cultist takes our items and then doesn't give them back, but instead provides us with a very valuable mantra to repeat over and over again until we can ascend to level 2 of his program.
I deserve a better life. A better life is coming. A better life is almost here.
This is a very silly option in the game that I don't think anyone would seriously do, but it is a dumb mistake to make if you do choose to hand all of your items to this very odd looking man. You can request them back from Brother Andrew, and shockingly he is not interested in handing them over, so we are forced to kill him to get them back. Remember everyone, violence is always the answer. Coming in at the number 3 spot, we have Wasting perk points in Charisma. Charisma is an incredibly overpowered perk tree to spec into in Fallout 4, and it is far more important than the other special stats in the game. With the passive speech check, you can convince many people in the wasteland to do whatever you ask of them, and this comes in handy in quite literally every situation you may find yourself in. However, if you were to go ahead and dump 10 special points into Charisma at the start of the game, or even worse, dump perk points from leveling up into Charisma, you would be making a huge mistake. Charisma can be drastically improved by simply donning a fashionable piece of headwear, a clean item of clothing, and some fashionable glasses over your eyes. Just doing this gets you an additional 4 charisma, and that is not even counting items like alcohol, which if you drink adds at least 1 charisma, or taking something even stronger like grape mentats, which will increase your charisma by 5. Wasting your hard-earned level ups on charisma or the special points you are given at the start of the game is a huge mistake that players will probably make because they'll hear that charisma is the most important stat to level up. Charisma can be increased drastically without putting any of your level ups into this perk, leaving you able to put them into much more needed and fun perks. so make sure you do not make this mistake. Coming in at the number 2 spot, we have Not Doing Far Harbour with Nick Valentine. The Far Harbour DLC takes the player character off the mainland and over onto the island of Far Harbour, where we meet a variety of new characters and factions. The primary goal of us on the island is to track down the missing Kasumi Nakano from the mainland, who has fled her family to go and live with a group of synths in a place called Acadia. Arriving at Acadia, we find that it is a synth haven, and discover the leader of this interesting faction, a synth named Dima, who looks remarkably similar to our friendly Commonwealth detective, Nick Valentine. We discover that the two were brothers of sorts, being the first generation 2 synths to have their own consciousnesses and be as intelligent and free-willed as the Gen 3 synths. Nick Valentine had the personality of a pre-war police officer implanted into his brain, whereas Dima was permitted to craft a new personality from his own experiences. After the two escaped the Institute, they parted ways and never saw one another again. Completing the Far Harbour DLC with Nick Valentine adds a huge layer of depth to the interesting dynamic with Dima and your companion. The two have many interactions and have many conversations, and it really does add to the DLC and the experience as a whole. If you fail to bring Nick with you and simply complete the DLC without him, this does not make Far Harbour bad in any way, but it does massively diminish the potential that this DLC has. So you would be making a huge mistake if you didn't bring Nick Valentine on to the Far Harbour DLC with you. And last but certainly not least, we have the number 1 spot, which is siding with the Institute. The Institute is the worst faction to side with in all of Fallout 4. Not only from a lore perspective, as the Institute are a bunch of techno-morons hiding away in their sanctuary and callously murdering and replacing innocent wastelanders, but the ramification for doing so for in-game perks and purposes are terrible. If you do this, you are forced to destroy the Railroad and the Brotherhood of Steel. And this means that the companions of Deacon and Paladin Danse, 2 of the best in the game by far, become your sworn enemies, and you are forced to kill them. Not only that, but the companion you gain in replacement of these 2 is the Institute's own X688, who is a very blank character with no real personality, apart from being stoic and uncaring. Why would you ever want to roam the wasteland with this chump when you could have all of the interesting dialogue with both Deacon and Danse? In terms of your actual rewards for siding with the Institute, they offer nothing really apart from perhaps their paint job on power armor, which is fine but nothing special. With the Brotherhood of Steel you can get the Paladin painted power armor and the jetpack, but the Institute offer nothing of value whatsoever. The only actual advantage to siding with the Institute that I can think of is if you're playing in survival mode and you therefore have no fast travel. Well, if you side with the Institute, then you can use their teleporter, effectively giving you a form of fast travel. The Institute are monsters who want nothing more than to protect themselves and feel nothing for their fellow man stranded above the surface. They also don't even care about you. They see you as an idiotic moron who's used nepotism to get into power, whereas in the Brotherhood of Steel and the Railroad, you are a respected member of the faction. So please, do not make this huge mistake of siding with the Institute, because you will regret it massively when you get nothing out of it. So that is my list of 5 big mistakes that you may make in Fallout 4. If you agree with me, please let me know in the comment section down below, but if you disagree with me, please also let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know if there are any other huge mistakes that I haven't mentioned in this video that you feel that should be mentioned. Please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Again, we are going for 15,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so please do subscribe to the channel. I really do want to hit this goal. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video in a bit.
You have suspected that the